up everyone! So, continuing my award season coverage, today on the channel I'm going to be doing a deep dive discussion and prediction of the 2023 Best Supporting Actress category. In this category we have Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Chau for The Whale, Kerry Condon for the Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Chau also for Everything Everywhere All at Once. This category is wonderful. I love this mix of nominees this year. It's very diverse and eclectic, and I would genuinely be happy with any one of the 5 winning in this category. Little fun fact for you guys, all 5 of the nominees are nominated for playing fictional characters. That hasn't happened since 2011 when Octavia Spencer won for The Help. It's mostly first-time nominees, apart from Angela Bassett, who was nominated for Best Actress back in 1994 for What's Love Got to Do With It. God, that was almost 30 years ago, but since then, Angela Bassett has garnered a reputation as an industry legend, but she isn't the only industry legend in this category this year. We've also got Jamie Lee Curtis. Both Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis are 64 years of age, but this is Jamie Lee Curtis's first ever Oscar nomination, despite being in the business for over 50 years. So yeah, 2 industry legends. We've also got 2 pretty well-known and reliable supporting actresses. We've got Chau receiving her first nomination for The Whale to make up for the fact that she was snubbed back in 2018 for Downsizing. And we've also got Kerry Condon for her performance in The Banshees of Inisherin. This is also her first nom. And to cap it all off, we've got a relative newcomer with Stephanie Chau landing her first Oscar nomination for her breakout performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once. So yeah, it's a really great selection this year, and it's also been one of the most interesting and exciting races to call. Way back before we even knew who the nominees were for this category, there didn't seem to be a consensus as to who we were gonna get. Like, everyone had a different opinion and theory. Some people were predicting the ladies from Women Talking, some people were predicting Dolly DeLeon from Triangle Sadness, some people were predicting Nina Hoss from Tar. But after we got the nominees, and I was very happy with the selection, it kind of seemed like we did have an early frontrunner in Angela Bassett, but in the last stretch of the race, both Kerry Condon and Jamie Lee Curtis gained some steam. They really came up the rear, and now it feels like it's leveled out. It really feels like a 3-person race at this point, and it honestly could go to any one of the 3. And honestly, I love that. I think it's so exciting not knowing for sure who it's gonna go to. So yeah, in this video, I'm gonna give you some analysis on all the nominees, their strengths, their weaknesses, and predict who I think is gonna win the Oscar. I've also got deep dive videos on Best Actor and Best Actress. Do check them out if you like. And if you do like this video, please throw me a like my way. It really helps. And also, let me know in the comment section below, who are you predicting for Best Supporting Actress? I've also got my final Oscar predictions video coming up later this week, so if you don't want to miss that, click subscribe. Alright, let's do it. I'm gonna start off with the person who I think is the least likeliest to win, and that sadly is Chau for The Whale. I absolutely adored Chau in The Whale. It is a sublime supporting performance. I'm so happy she got the nomination as well after a rocky start with the award season. I would love to see her win, but I don't think it's her time. My reasoning as to why I don't think she can win is because she did miss in a couple key places. She didn't get nominated at Golden Globe or Critics' Choice. She did pick up steam when she secured the nominations at BAFTA and SAG, but she hasn't secured any major precursor wins at this point. The Whale received only 3 nominations, which isn't awful, but she is competing against Kerry Condon, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Stephanie Chau, who are all in serious players at the Academy Awards. Their films received loads of nominations, including Best Picture. So for Chau, the nomination itself feels like the victory for her. So yeah, I don't think it's gonna be her. Next up, we have Stephanie Chau for her wonderful star-making turn as Joy/Jobu Tupaki in the Daniels Everything Everywhere All at Once. Out of the 2 Everything Everywhere performances in this category, this one is my personal favorite. Stephanie Chau really got to show off her range as Joy. She got to be funny and goofy, but also she hits you hard with the emotions. You really do feel her anguish as a teenager just striving for her mother's approval, acceptance, and love. But yeah, I'm really not sold on the idea of the Academy going with a newcomer when there's 2 industry legends in this category, which, you know, I've had a lot more visible work over the years, and I've worked with a lot more people in the Academy. I just feel like Stephanie Chau being the newcomer is probably gonna get, you know, overshadowed by a far more seasoned and experienced co-nominees. Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis have never been acknowledged by the Oscars, and they may want to take the opportunity to award one of their veterans. Stephanie Chau did just win the Indie Spirit Award, but she hasn't won any major precursors, and she wasn't even longlisted at the BAFTAs, which could indicate that she might not have the support of like the European Oscar voters. But I will say this, if either Jamie Lee Curtis or Stephanie Hsu does end up winning Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars, then that's gonna make me feel more confident that Michelle Yeoh is gonna end up taking the Best Actress Oscar. Ke Huy Quan is pretty much a lock for the Best Supporting Actor win, but if Best Supporting Actress goes to one of the Everything ladies, like it did the SAGs, then that's gonna make me think that it's just gonna sweep in all the acting categories that it's nominated for. But that's not to say that I think if Stephanie Hsu or Jamie Lee Curtis don't win in this category, that Michelle Yeoh can't go on to win the Oscar. I still think she can win. I'll just feel more confident if Jamie Lee Curtis or Stephanie Hsu pull off a win in Supporting Actress. Stephanie Hsu's nomination makes her only the second openly queer actor to receive a nomination at the Oscars for playing a character that identifies as queer. The last time it happened was for Ian McKellen for Best Actor in Gods and Monsters back in 1999. Also, if Stephanie Hsu wins, we will have two back-to-back openly queer women winning in this category, following Ariana DeBose, who won last year for West Side Story. So we've discussed one of the Everything Everywhere ladies. Shall we discuss the other? Yep, let's talk about Jamie Lee Curtis, who is creeping up the outside in the final lap with a surprise win at the SAG Awards. Her win at the SAG Awards is what's thrown this category into a swirling vortex. Because it seemed like it was coming down to either Bassett or Condon, but then Jamie Lee Curtis goes and throws a wrench in the machine. And I'm so here for it. We can't ignore Jamie Lee Curtis's win at the SAG Awards, okay? It's too big of a precursor to dismiss because it heavily implies that Jamie Lee Curtis has the support of the acting community, aka the biggest branch of voters at the Oscars. Now, to be fair, this could just be a SAG thing. Jamie Lee Curtis is beloved by actors, okay? She has a wonderful reputation. All you see on the internet and in interviews is people praising Jamie Lee Curtis, talking about how kind and loving and supportive she is. She really loves what she does, and she treats everyone that she works with love and respect. So yeah, she's curated this reputation as someone that people really like to work with. In other words, she's popular. And being popular can only be a good thing, but is her support just from the acting community, or is it from the entire industry? I think it's industry because it's not just actors who I've seen praising Jamie Lee Curtis, it's the crew and the directors as well. She's also, I'd argue, the nominee in this category with the best campaign strategy. From day one, Jamie Lee Curtis has been the self-proclaimed head cheerleader of Everything Everywhere. Okay, she has been out there, going to every event, every voter screening, you know, getting the word out about the film. She's also been very savvy with social media, you name it. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, okay, she is on all the platforms, okay? Like, she is using social media as a tool, like, in a way that I've not really seen any other Oscar nominee use it before. She's got incredible visibility online, and I do think she is a contributing factor as to the longevity of Everything Everywhere over this past year. Like, Everything Everywhere came out so early last year, and it's had to sustain momentum and support and relevancy for nearly a year, okay? That's hard to do, but I think Jamie Lee Curtis is a reason for the hype lasting as long as it has for Everything Everywhere. She's really stoked the flames of passion for this film. She's kept it alive. I think she knew from day one how special Everything Everywhere was and how lucky she was to be a part of it in some way. And she's genuinely happy for the success of the Daniels and her co-stars. Like, when they've been receiving awards, she has just been there cheering them on. And it was so nice to see that outpouring of love that she gave to her Everything Everywhere family reciprocated when she won the SAG Award. The question is though, can she ride that SAG wave all the way to the Oscars? I wouldn't put it past her to win at this point. Yes, her performance isn't traditionally what the Academy would pick in this category, you know, a frumpy, howling IRS agent who does kung fu with Michelle Yeoh. Yeah, genre bias is a big obstacle to overcome at the Oscars, but part of me would love to see her win because we very rarely see comedic performances like this win. I am so down for comedic performances winning in the acting categories, okay? Let's mix it up from time to time. Also, her speech at the SAGs was terrific. That speech alone could be enough to bag her the Oscar. It really was perfect, because you could tell it was from the heart, it wasn't scripted. She talked about her passion for the craft. She took a moment to honor Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle!
But yeah, she also talked about The fact that her parents were actors, like Janet Leigh and Jamie Curtis, and, you know, she owned the fact that she was a Nepo baby and got a laugh out of it. And she got overwhelmed with emotion towards the end. Like, you could tell she was visibly moved by this win. If the Academy want another heartfelt speech like that, then they might lean towards Jamie Lee Curtis. So yeah, the combination of Jamie Lee Curtis's beloved industry reputation, along with Everything Everywhere's popularity, could clinch her the win. If she did win, it would be kind of like the Academy giving her a win to acknowledge her entire career. Next up is Kerry Condon, who I stated after I saw Banshees at Venice was the dark horse in this category. Although, given the state of this particular race now, I think you could claim that any one of the 5 nominees is a dark horse to win at this point. But yeah, based on personal preference, Kerry Condon is who I would actually want to see win the Oscar. She's who I'd give my vote to. I love all 5 performances in this category, but if I had to pick one that I was most impressed by, it'd be Kerry Condon. It's one skill set to deliver a sad, emotional performance which gets an audience crying. It's another entirely different skill set to be funny and make an audience laugh. Condon does both effortlessly and sometimes simultaneously. Certain scenes in Banshees, like Don't Suppose You'd Want to Fall in Love with a Boy Like Me, are both tragic and hilarious. She also stands a relatively decent chance of winning because Banshees was very well liked by the Academy. They gave it 9 nominations, including Best Picture. Whilst having your performance in a Best Picture nominee isn't a strict requirement of this category in order to win, just look at Regina King, Alison Janney, Alicia Vikander, they all won without Best Picture nomination. It certainly does help. The last 3 years it went to Ariana DeBose, Ya Jung-yoon, and Laura Dern, who are all in Best Picture contenders. Condon also won the BAFTA, which is a pretty reliable precursor in this category. In the last 20 years, Best Supporting Actress at BAFTA and Oscars has matched 16 out of 20 times, okay? So you've got like a 75% success ratio of winning the Oscar if you've won the BAFTA in this category. And Condon has also won the most critics awards of all the nominees in this category, which does put her in a firm position to win. She doesn't really have a narrative like Angela Bassett or Jamie Lee Curtis. She would just win solely based on the merits of the quality of her performance, and really, that should be enough. And finally, we have Angela Bassett for her rousing performance as Queen Ramonda in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. For a while, it seemed like Angela Bassett was going to be our eventual winner at the Oscars. She started gaining steam when she won the Golden Globe and the Critics' Choice Award. She seemed like she was the chosen champion for this category at that point. However, the last few weeks of this race, she has taken some pretty big hits. No wins at BAFTA or SAG, and she was highly favored to win at SAG but lost to Jamie Lee Curtis. Any momentum that she had took a serious dent when she incurred those losses, but I still think Angela Bassett can pull off a win here. A Golden Globe and Critics' Choice isn't nothing, okay? That's 2 major precursor prizes. Much like Jamie Lee Curtis, she's someone in the industry who is widely respected and beloved. She's been in the business a long time, and like Jamie Lee Curtis, she's also 64 years old, and she has just been churning out consistently phenomenal performances for decades. She's also the only previous Oscar nominee in this category. Does her previous nomination for What's Love Got to Do with It carry some kind of cachet that the other nominees lack? Almost 30 years have passed since her previous Oscar nomination, and honestly, it does seem a little odd that she doesn't already have an Oscar. Angela Bassett just always strikes me as the type of person that would have an Oscar. She's just that good in literally everything. Even in superhero movies, she brings a level of gravitas, passion, and presence to the table, which often goes unmatched. She's already made history by being the first MCU performance to be nominated for an Academy Award. Could she also be the first one to win? I wouldn't put it past her to do so because she's Angela freaking Bassett. The question is though, can she overcome the genre bias? The only performances in the superhero genre that we've seen win are Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix, both for playing the Joker. So it's not out of the question that she could win, but comparing Angela Bassett to them does feel a little bit apples and oranges. I could see Angela Bassett taking this in the same way that Regina King won for If Beale Street Could Talk, because Regina King didn't even get nominated at BAFTA and SAG. She won at Golden Globes and Critics' Choice, just like Angela Bassett, but she wasn't nominated at BAFTA and SAG, and she still managed to win the Oscar. So if Bassett couldn't win at BAFTA and SAG, even though she was nominated, I still think she could pull off a win at Oscars regardless. So who do I think is gonna win in this category? Honestly, this is really tough. After the SAG Awards, this went from being one of the relatively easier categories to predict to maybe the hardest. I can see it going one of three ways: Angela Bassett, Kerry Condon, or Jamie Lee Curtis. Hong Chau or Stephanie Hsu would be a delightful surprise at this point. I'm not ruling them out entirely, but given that they don't have any substantial major precursors, I'm pushing them to the side to focus on Curtis, Bassett, and Condon. Both Bassett and Curtis have been in the industry a long time. They're both seen as somewhat overdue. I'd argue that Bassett's probably a little bit more overdue because of a previous Oscar nomination, but both of them would also have to overcome the genre bias of the films that they're nominated for. Jamie Lee Curtis might actually have an advantage over Angela Bassett because she's in a Best Picture frontrunner. And again, if they want to shower Everything Everywhere with accolades, then they might go all in on Everything Everywhere and give the award to Jamie Lee Curtis. However, Jamie Lee Curtis is also competing with her co-star Stephanie Hsu, so does she run the risk of splitting votes with Chau? Perhaps. I personally prefer Stephanie Hsu's performance, but I can imagine Jamie Lee Curtis, who's been around a lot longer, having more support from her peers. Again, there could be that mentality that Stephanie Hsu is at the beginning of her career, she's gonna have lots more roles, more opportunities to be nominated, whereas Jamie Lee Curtis is now in the final stretch, is that the right word? Sorry, is in the more seasoned part of her career, okay? And the opportunities for her to be nominated in the future might not be as fruitful. So yeah, they may think, well, let's give it to Jamie Lee Curtis now while we can. Stephanie Hsu's probably got more chances in the future. Also, in terms of the performances, Jamie Lee Curtis's performance is far more sillier than Angela Bassett's is. Now granted, Angela Bassett is in a Marvel movie which features singing sirens that live under the sea and a half-naked antagonist with little wings on his ankle, okay? It's got its fair share of fantastical elements, but between Bassett and Curtis, Bassett definitely has the more Oscar baity role. It's more grand. Like every scene that she's in, she's giving an impassioned speech, which feels like very Shakespearean. And every scene that she's got kind of does feel like an Oscar clip.
Have I not given everything?
So yeah, both Bassett and Curtis have pluses and minuses working for and against them, which is why I actually think Kerry Condon might be a winner. And it's not just because she won the BAFTA, even though it does help. I'm gonna repeat something which I previously said in another Oscar predictions video, so apologies if you've already heard me say this, but now that we're in the end game, it really does feel applicable to this situation. Okay, so here it is. I've spotted a pattern in Best Supporting Actress over recent Oscars history. The last 8 years in a row, the Best Supporting Actress winner at the Oscar ended up going to a woman who was the sole winner for the film that she was in. The film would win Best Supporting Actress, and that's it. It's weird, but is it just a coincidence? Maybe, but to me, 8 years is quite a pattern. I've kind of viewed this statistic as the Academy offering it up as a consolation prize of sorts. And that's not me diminishing the performances of the last 8 Best Supporting Actress winners at the Oscars. They're all fantastic. I'm just saying the Academy often likes their films, often securing multiple nominations, but the film only ends up walking away with Best Supporting Actress. But it's just hard to ignore that stat. If I apply that statistic to this year, then I can kind of take Jamie Lee Curtis out because I am anticipating Everything Everywhere All at Once to win several Oscars on Oscars night. So they might not feel obliged to give it Best Supporting Actress. But having said that, if they do decide to give Everything Everywhere, a sweep, then maybe we will see a Best Supporting Actress win for Jamie Lee Curtis or Stephanie Hsu. But yeah, just for the purposes of letting my theory play out, I can see an outcome where Angela Bassett or Kerry Condon is the sole winner for their films on Oscars night. Now, I will say for the record that it is possible that Angela Bassett or Kerry Condon's films could win more than just Best Supporting Actress. I could see Black Panther Wakanda Forever winning costume design or maybe song. The reason I'm not sold on it winning Best Costume Design, again, is because this is a sequel. The last Black Panther movie did win. Ruthie Carter took it home. And I will say she did up the ante with her costumes this year, but is there going to be an immediacy to reward the same type of costumes again for a sequel? Not sure. I feel like they might go more towards Elvis there, but yeah, it could still win costume design. I'm still not fully decided on who I'm picking for costume design. But yeah, maybe it could win in Best Song as well. It's not impossible, but it does seem unlikely. And then there's Kerry Condon for Banshees, which does have a chance of winning original screenplay, and it's kind of a dark horse for like Best Actor for Colin Farrell and even Best Picture. But again, those are kind of long shots, and because of the love for Everything Everywhere, it kind of just feels like Everything Everywhere will win the screenplay. So yes, I can see an outcome where Angela Bassett or Kerry Condon is the sole win for either of their films on Oscars night. But here's why I think Condon has the edge, and I'm gonna give you 4 reasons. Reason number 1, Condon's performance doesn't suffer from genre bias like Bassett or Curtis. Condon's performance is in a tragicomedy, which was written by Martin McDonagh, and as we've seen in the past, the Academy have awarded actors in Martin McDonagh roles like Frances McDormand and Sam Rockwell for 3 Billboards. Condon's performance is a beautiful fusion of comedy and drama, and she's also in a heavily nominated film. Both Bassett and Curtis's performances are in action sci-fi movies, which, let's face it, isn't really the Academy's cup of tea. So arguably Condon's performance is the safest or most traditional pick out of those 3. Reason number 2, between Angela Bassett and Kerry Condon is in a Best Picture contender. It got 9 nominations. That amount of nominations implies that the Academy really like Banshees, and they will be watching Banshees, and they probably will want to award it something where they can. Condon is Banshees' best chance of an acting win, and maybe just a win in general. Definitely not what I thought I'd say after they announced the nominations for the Oscars. Reason number 3, Condon is the only nominee of the 5 who comes from outside of the USA. I think Condon is going to have a lot of support from the European voters at the Oscars, giving her a significant boost. And reason number 4, both Jamie Lee Curtis and Angela Bassett share a similar narrative, okay? They're both 64, they're both industry legends, both have a passionate support base. And because they're so similar, I think they're gonna end up splitting votes. Like, some people vote for Bassett and some people vote for Curtis, but it's gonna leave ample room for Kerry Condon to squeeze up the middle with all the support she's got from the European voters and then clinch the win. I took a poll on Twitter, and it does seem that you guys also agree with me that Kerry Condon is gonna be the winner here. So to sum up this video, guys, I'm in a pretty good position because no matter who does end up winning, I'm gonna be happy about it because I love all 5 of these performances. Like, any one of them would be a worthy win in my eyes. And yeah, I can't really say that about other categories. But yeah, Condon was who I was rooting for since Venice, and while she hasn't been like a runaway sweeper this award season or anything, she has done what I thought she would do, which was quietly run the race at a consistent pace and then end up clinching it at the end. Like, it is a marathon, not a sprint, and I do think she will end up taking the Oscar. But I'm definitely not 100% sure. Like, it could go to Angela Bassett, it could go to Jamie Lee Curtis. Heck, it genuinely could go to anyone because this category has been wildly unpredictable this year. And like I said, no matter who wins, I will be happy. But I have to predict somebody to win, so I'm gonna say it officially that my prediction for the 2023 Best Supporting Actress Oscar will go to Kerry Condon. But as always, guys, it's just one book's opinion. Who do you think is gonna win Best Supporting Actress? Do let me know in that comment section below. I've got my final Oscar predictions vid coming up, so if you don't wanna miss that, click subscribe. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. For more things related to movies, TV, the Oscars, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hearfield, and I'll see you next time.